Larry Holmes is one of the most underrated heavyweight champions of all time. This, in large part, is due to immediately succeeding Muhammad Ali. However, there is no doubt that the Easton Assassin was a heavyweight great. He was the world heavyweight champion between 1978 and 1985, made 19 defenses of his title, and had skill, movement, power, punch resistance, and possibly the best jab in heavyweight history. In this video, we will look back at the boxing career of the Easton Assassin, the great Larry Holmes. Born in Easton, Pennsylvania in November 1949, Larry Holmes started boxing late, at 19 years old. Holmes had a short amateur career and decided to turn professional when he missed out on a spot at the 1972 Olympic Games after getting disqualified for excessive holding against Dwayne Bobbitt. Holmes would go on to make his professional debut, winning a points decision against Dupree in March 1973. With a short amateur career, missing out on Olympic publicity and joining a heavyweight division stacked with established American talent such as Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, George Foreman and Ken Norton, just to name a few, Holmes had to work hard and build his profile and gained experience both by fighting in the ring and also learning on the job behind the scenes by becoming a sparring partner for elite world level fighters including Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali. Larry Holmes worked his way up the ranks, and by 1978 he was fighting in a world title eliminator against the hard-hitting Ernie Shavers. The winner would earn a shot to fight the then world champion Ken Norton. Now, Ken Norton had become the WBC heavyweight champion because Leon Spinks, who was the champion, was stripped of the title when he opted against fighting Norton as his mandatory challenger and instead agreed to rematch Muhammad Ali. Larry Holmes comfortably beat Shavers via an unanimous points decision, and this win allowed him the opportunity to fight Ken Norton for the WBC Heavyweight Championship of the World. The fight took place in June 1978 at Caesars Palace, Las Vegas, and was a brilliant fight. The Easton Assassin started well, controlled the fight with his solid, accurate left jab, alongside throwing hard right hands that kept Norton guessing and unable to press the action. When Norton did attempt to push forward, Holmes used his excellent movement and footwork to move out of distance and was clearly ahead on the scorecards in the early rounds of the contest. However, as the rounds went on, Norton started to get closer to Holmes and began hitting the Easton Assassin with clean, big right hands. Holmes took Norton's shots well, but Norton was cutting off the ring and working the body effectively and started taking rounds. The fight began to turn into a war, and both boxers had spells of success. Going into the 15th and final round, the fight was close. The final round was quite possibly the best round in heavyweight history, with both boxers tearing into each other, giving it their all. Holmes just nicked the round and won the fight by split decision. Holmes' first defense came against Alfredo Evangelista, and this started a long and successful reign as heavyweight champion that lasted until 1985. Notable wins during this period included an exciting rematch with Ernie Shavers, where Holmes built up a big lead on points, again just like their first fight, before being knocked down heavily in the 7th round before regaining control of the fight, wearing a tiring Shavers down and forced a stoppage win. Another notable win for Holmes was against his friend and old sparring partner Muhammad Ali in October 1980. However, Ali was well past his best at this stage in his career, and Holmes systematically beat up Ali for 10 rounds before Angelo Dundee, Ali's trainer, stopped the contest. Other key wins were against Snipes, where Holmes once again had to show his heart and determination by getting up from another big knockdown in the 7th round to stop Snipes in the 11th. There was also a 13th round stoppage victory over the unbeaten so-called Great White Hope, Jerry Clooney, and a split decision victory over Tim Witherspoon. Interestingly, Holmes relinquished his WBC title in 1983 to fight Marvis Frazier, son of Joe Frazier, and with that win, it ultimately led the way for Holmes to fight James Bone Crusher Smith for the newly formed IBF Championship of the World. Holmes' involvement helped the IBF's credibility to be seen as a legitimate world title. The Easton Assassin won this fight against Bone Crusher Smith via a 12th round stoppage win. Overall, Holmes defended his world title 19 times in a row before losing the winning streak and also his first ever fight via a points decision loss to Michael Spinks in September 1985. Holmes had an immediate rematch against Spinks in 1986, but again lost via a questionable split decision and retired. However, Holmes was tempted back into the squared circle by promoter Don King, who in 1988, for a huge payday, asked him to come out of retirement to fight the fearsome, undefeated and undisputed world heavyweight champion Iron Mike Tyson. Holmes was 38 years old at the time and not in fighting condition and was underprepared. He was ultimately stopped by Iron Mike inside 4 rounds and again retired. Possibly inspired by George Foreman's comeback in the late 1980s, Holmes came out of retirement once more in 1991 and went on to have some big wins, including a win over unbeaten contender Ray Mercier, and although losing efforts, fought for world titles and went the distance with some of the best champions of the 1990s, including Oliver McCall and Evander Holyfield. Finally, Larry Holmes retired for good in 2002, aged 52, when he beat Butterbean and finished his career with a pro record of 69 wins, 44 of those wins coming by way of knockouts, and he had 6 defeats. Holmes was a great fighter who was unfortunate in some ways to follow immediately after legends such as Frazier, Foreman and Ali. But the Easton Assassin had boxing skill, was involved in exciting fights and had the second longest run of world title defences in heavyweight history. Put simply, Larry Holmes is one of the greatest heavyweight champions of all time. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like and subscribe, and until next time, have a great day and God bless, my friends.